As we get ready for our morning devotion today, I woke up this morning kind of reflecting on our men's prayer time that we had on Monday night at Sunrise Chapel, and one of the subjects that we talked about was how there seems to be a spirit of anxiousness among not only the world, but particularly among God's people. People just seem to be anxious about a lot of things, and I believe that's a true statement, that people are tending to concern themselves more with not only the events of the world, but just the events that are going on in their own lives. It just seems like there's always something to be concerned or anxious about. And what we talked about there was the fact that it really boils down to what we choose to focus on, what we see that's in front of us, how we process it in our minds, how we choose to either take it to the Lord or take the burden upon ourselves. Being focused on a situation will dictate your direction. You and I both know that whatever you put your eyes on, that tends to be the direction that you end up going. So our spiritual eyesight is no different. What we choose to focus on either brings us peace and calmness, or it brings us an anxious spirit. And one of the things that we brought out there is something that God kind of showed me several years ago that really tries to help keep me in focus when it comes to knowing that I only have so many days upon this earth. I know that, you know that. We don't know exactly how many we have, and it's probably a good thing that we don't. But we all know that there is coming a day, if the Lord tarries, that one day will be our last day. And so how we choose to process that information, how we choose to move forward in our lives based on the fact that God has given me today, He's given me so many hours in this day, and what I choose to do with those, what I choose to focus on, what I choose to allow to concern me in my life, has a big impact on how I spend that day. And in Psalm chapter 90 and verse number 12, there is a specific instruction given to us in order for us to help navigate through a day. That's really all we need to be concerned about from day to day. We do need to plan for tomorrow. We do need to be aware of the things that are going on in life. But God says, don't miss today, because that's what you have right now. Listen to Psalm 90 and verse number 12. So teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. So one thing I shared with the men on Monday night was the fact that God gave me this kind of revelation several years ago, that if every hour of my life was $1, $1 equaled 1 hour of my life, then how would I choose to spend that dollar? What value would I get if I gave up that dollar for that moment? If I go into a store or go into any situation where I have to purchase something, whatever I purchase, I want it to be equal to the value of what I gave up for it. And so if every hour of my life was something I spend, which I do, what am I getting in return for the hour that I'm giving up for it? That is a very important question, because how many hours of your life have you spent and you figured out that was wasted time that I spent on that subject or that thing that was causing me so much anxiety, such an anxious spirit, that I could do nothing about that situation, and it ended up not being near as big a deal as I made it. But all the hours I spent festering over it, worried about it, concerned about it, that I'll never get back. Was that a value that I can say was worth it? Most likely not. So even though there are a lot of things going on in the world, in your life, in your health, in your marriage, in your family, in your children, in your careers, what you spend your time concerned about has a huge impact on how you perceive those situations. So this morning, I just want you to take a deep breath And as you let it out, I want you to let out all of the anxiety that you may be feeling over a particular situation. And ask yourself today, if these 24 hours that God gives me, prayerfully He'll give me all day, if they were all $1 bills, how am I spending that time? Today you be safe, you be strong, and you be blessed. And spend that time wisely, because it will never come again. Once it's gone, it's gone. I pray you don't spend it anxious, but you spend it at peace, counting your blessings instead of your problems. Lord's will, we'll see you back here again tomorrow. Until then, as always, hope you have a great and wonderful day.